Hey everybody, it's me again. It's Peter Papapetrou. I hope this is correct. I've been on Vicky's page, I've been on another page, and I'm hoping right now I am on the CAFA live page. So I apologize for all the technical difficulties we've had. Oh, so somebody's watching, so I guess that means we are good. Thank God my career is not on tech, because I would be so fired by this point. So it looks like we're good. Oh, Paolo's watching. Hello. So we are good to go. So I'm going to get started. My name, for all of you who might not know, is Peter Papapetrou. I am a fashion director and stylist represented by the Platino Group. I am also one of the style experts on the Marilyn Denis Show, which is a national morning show, and I've been doing that for 10 years. And I hope you're watching that because we're back to doing episodes on the Marilyn Show, and we're all doing them from home. So support our show. As always, it's a great show. Hi, Marilyn. Give a little shout out. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to give you a little bit of information. And I'm hoping that my journey, my stories, and kind of things of what I'm doing right now and at home and trying to make the best of what's happened. You know, a lot of us have a lot to deal with, and it's been kind of crazy. And so I'm hoping that my information might be able to be helpful and be inspiring. And hopefully once we all share stories with each other that, you know, it makes everything a little bit better. So I'm going to start off by giving a little bit of information of what was happening before COVID with me. So before this started, from January 2nd onwards, things were just crazy busy. It was insane. I was doing creative direction campaigns for people. I was styling, I was doing the Marilyn Denis Show. I had really big campaigns that I had to take care of, and it was more than just being a stylist. It was like building teams, booking teams, getting models together, creative directing. And so my schedule was just insane. I don't think I had a weekend off. I was constantly thinking if I was doing one thing, I was also constantly thinking of another thing. My partner wasn't the happiest about it because my mind, we'd be sitting there watching TV and my mind would be like, oh, pink, that's the color. And so we all have that kind of world where we all live in that's constantly busy. And when we're going, we don't have a chance to stop. And when all this started to happen, I was so busy, I never really had a chance to really wrap my head around on what that meant. And so I remember when it got closer to everything and the agency would start calling me and saying things are getting postponed. And that's when the reality started to click in for me that, you know, this is going to be a big change. And I finished my last job on, I think, March the 16th or something like that. And originally when that happened and we were going to stop, I was so busy that in my mind I was like, oh my God, thank God. I'll have some days off and I'll get to relax and chill and actually, you know, regroup a little bit. And so the next day when I got up after, you know, everything was done and there was no jobs right now until, you know, everything's been postponed, the agency said, you know, they'll get back to us when that happens. So it was the first time in a long time that I had seen my chart completely clear. That hasn't happened in about 15 years. And so that morning I got up and I thought, okay, I'm just going to take some time to myself. So I grabbed a coffee and I sat in my favorite chair in the front and I just thought for a while. I just sat and looked outside and started thinking about things. And as I started to think about things, I realized that I started having these feelings of the way I used to feel when I first started styling. Like I realized that there was this hustle inside of me that, you know, my mind couldn't really shut off. Like it was just like I was going into a different kind of a mode of working and trying to make things happen. And then I thought to myself, okay, you know what? You may be out of work and this may be a long time. So what are we going to do about it? And the one great thing I have to say about freelancers in general, and that could be like designers, stylists, makeup artists, art directors, so many people in the industry who I miss so much seeing. The one thing is that we have as freelancers is we're used to change. We're used to not being stable. I started to realize that, you know, I'm used to not having a regular paycheck. I'm used to not having stability of every job happening all the time. I don't work 9 to 5. I don't have benefits. I don't have all these things. So I knew that I was in a place where I started to get those instincts back that, I got this, and that I realized that the bonus of being a freelancer is we're always used to change. And add that to being in fashion. And the reason why we love being in fashion is because we really love change. I thought to myself that, you know what, this could be a really great experience, not a very negative experience. It sucks in a lot of ways of what's been happening, but I thought to myself, rather than look at it as a negative, I started to look at it as a positive, and I started to look at it, and what things could I do now to help and build myself. So that hustle kicked back in, like that hustle that happened when I was, in my early days of styling. My mind started thinking the exact same way, whereas it was always about, why? Why is that like that? And what? All these kind of questions were coming into my mind about everything that was going on. And all those things that when I was naive in the beginning of the industry really got me to where I was, because it was always challenging the reality of what was happening. And I thought, well, this was a great opportunity right now to challenge our reality. And I really sat there and for a while stood there and looked, and I thought, okay, I need to do something. And the first thing that came to mind is like, you know what? Fashion doesn't stop for anybody. And it basically is an industry that really covers and really mirrors everything that's going on in the world right now. And that's where it gets its inspiration from. So rather than look at it as something negative, maybe I should be inspired by it. So fast forward a little bit further, and then so I decided that the best thing that I could do is really focus on social media. And I really took that to heart and started really focusing a lot on my Instagram and Facebook pages, and started realizing that I first and foremost went back to everything I had been doing through my feeds. I went through all of them. I looked at the past month, I looked at the past year. I started to look at things, and I thought to myself, okay, I need to examine and make more focus of what I've been doing for so long, and actually break it down and think, okay, what's been working? What are my followers interested in? What are my followers interested in knowing? What can I offer? And as I went through, especially when I started doing posts in the first week or two after being in COVID, was people were really excited to see me or see you as a brand, whatever it is that you're doing. And people wanted a personal touch to everything. Things became a lot more personal. So as much as I posted all beautiful fashion photos, people love that. People like the escape of it. But people want to see much more of a personal side. They wanted to know how I was doing. They wanted to know what I was doing at home. They wanted to know what my closets look like. They wanted to know, how do I fold things? How do I get a stain out of something? Like all these kind of things that became like all the stuff that people were doing at home. They wanted somebody to go through it with them. So I think it's really important, whatever brand you have, makeup artist, stylist, designer, whatever that is, I think right now is the time where it's important to really build a great foundation of who you are and what you are. And what I mean by that is, this is the time now to look into opportunities of connecting with people in the industry that, all those people, we all know this. We all go to events and we run into each other. We're like, hey, I can't wait to see you. You know what? We should do this. We should catch up. I'd love to work on this with you. This might be the time to be able to do all those things that you wanted to do. It could be other designers and stylists and people that that you can do brand partnerships with. And what I mean when I say brand partnerships, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make money from it. And I know all of us are looking for ways to make money. And there's ways to do that, but it's going to be a slow start, and it's going to take a while, and it's not going to be large dollars like you had before. But it's also about thinking outside of the box. And what I mean by that is, whatever your brand is, maybe there's other aspects to it of what you do that you can expand on. And maybe you start to realize there's things in hobbies and things that you love. For stylists, people want to know everything that's happening in your house. What do you have in your closet? What are you wearing? What are you wearing this time? What comfies are you wearing around the house? Those kind of things are really great ways to interact with people and your followers on you And when people start to like you more, they're more invested in you and your brand. And I think that's really important way to realize that right now we all want to feel better, and we all want to feel better at home. We all want to feel connected to people. And I think this is the time where we can do it through things like that of, reach out to your followers, ask them the questions of what they want to see. Also, put out things that you would never usually do. I said, if there's ever a time you're going to try anything new, now is the time. Now is the time where you would actually have time to create something new, try something new, and it doesn't have to be perfect. People are okay with things not being 100% perfect right now, which is really hard for me coming from what I do, always wanting it to be perfect. There was a part of me that needed to let go of a few things that weren't 100% perfect, but I was learning from them. And I think the most important thing was the reason why I've always loved this industry and I've stuck with it for so long is that it's always changed. It's always challenged me. It's always caused me to learn. And that's what's made it exciting. I wasn't at a job where every day was the same thing, repeat, Groundhog Day kind of a job. This job changed me, got me to travel to places I never thought I would travel to and work with people I never thought I could work with. And now this was my next step on how are you going to handle it? And I think that's the question we all need to ask ourselves, or how are you going to handle it? Are you going to sit and be disappointed and be upset about everything that's going on in the world? Or are you going to take it in your hand and make a difference about it? And whether it be to help and acknowledge people and help people who are helping first responders, or, a lot of designers like Izzy Camilleri started to make masks and open up their businesses for that. So there was a shift in what needed to be done. And if you can do that and help people, that's great. If you want to reach out and support people, that's amazing. Anything that you can do to really get yourself out there, I think is the best thing. Because if there's ever a time you can build an incredible foundation, and I mean, that foundation that you can build now will be so much more solid than ever because you have so many eyes available on you right now watching more than ever. People want to watch things. People want to learn things. People want to be entertained. And I think that's more than anything else is right now. People need to be entertained. So have fun with your brand. Have fun with what you do. Make it clever. Make it interesting. I have a designer friend in Europe who I spoke with, and she has stock of so much merchandise, and she decided to do a fashion auction on Instagram Live. She pulled out pieces and she gave a price point, and she said she was going to auction them off and make a bit of money on stuff that she's had just sitting there. And I thought that was great. It was really smart. It was fun. It's not really what her brand does, but she did it in such a really chic way that I thought, good on you. You tried something new. You're at home. You have no other option to do things, but it was a great way of thinking outside of the box and creating it. And I love that aspect of being able to do something like that. I had another friend of mine who actually took stock fabric of what they had and started doing limited edition pieces of home decor, like pillows and throws, and did it as a limited edition thing so people would and their clients that didn't need dresses, gowns, or whatever it is right now, were invested in that brand and thought that it was really cute and helpful. And then that person also tied it into give back to it as well. A certain percentage of those sales went to helping, first responders, people in need, dealing with COVID. So I thought it was really interesting that people started to step up and think outside of the box of what they usually do in order to create things to work for them. And I think all of us should be looking at those kind of things right now, and really taking the time to make that happen. Some examples of different things that I have tried that were outside of the box is me and my partner, Jose, just one day we're making meatballs, and I posted. I did a post of it. It was just fun. It got such a great response and so much love for it, and so many questions and so many things beyond. It began its conversation of its own. And then somebody said, you guys are so cute. You guys are like the chef daddies. And so it just triggered in my mind. I was like, oh, what a cute name. So I looked at the handle. I checked it out. No one had it. I grabbed it on Instagram. I bought the domain on .com. I bought it all. And I'm not a chef. Jose loves to cook. I love to plate and do presentation when that happens. So I thought, if this is something else that I can do on the side that just amuses me for the times that are down when I'm not doing anything fashion related on my regular Instagram, why couldn't this be another fun side project? And who knows where it might lead? I don't know. Neither does Jose, but we thought we'd have a lot of fun with it. We haven't launched it yet, but it's coming soon. And I thought it was one of those things of like, this is the time where, you get to try new things. And this is the time where you can have that, right? And outside of that is, I also think it's really important right now to start doing things like live chats. Now, a lot of people, when I talk about live chats, get terrified. They're like, oh, you do television, you do this, you're used to it. It took a while. Trust me, talking on TV and talking to this on a screen is not as easy as it seems. It takes some time. But right now is not the time to be shy. If you are the person that is responsible to make or break your brand, then you need to become the face of your brand. And you need to really push that and you need to embrace that. And whether that means you need to be more involved and more vocal about your brand and showing things and doing live chats or, partnering with other people who are interested in speaking to you about what you do and what you're doing, then put yourself out there. Because that's really important to continue your name out there, your brand out there, doing as much as possible that you can to be out there and be present. And, the important thing, especially with freelancers, and if you're a freelancer who's a stylist and your numbers are good on Instagram, you can also start doing those brand partnership with brands, to support, feature things. But I think right now it's also a point where I've worked with brands to ship stuff to me that I think could work. And I think that's a great way to start evolving things. I also have a mannequin. So when we just got back from doing Maryland, we started going back live. We were all doing stuff from home. And, Marilyn said, okay, we're going to, talk to you about COVID, about what's happening in your house. We also want you to do some demos. And I had a mannequin. I thought, okay, I got to get this mannequin dressed. Let me see what I can come up with. And in my mind, I thought it was kind of hilarious, but I actually loved it. I thought it was kind of cool to try something completely new. It was all me at home trying to figure it out. I didn't have a producer. I didn't have a camera guy. I didn't have, everything. It was just me working it out. And I think it's those kind of things that are challenging us right now that are going to make us better for going forth. Only because that if you build a great foundation and you connected with who's following you and your brand, try new things and see what's working even more so. You might discover that what you've been doing before is not the best thing for your brand. And speaking to the people who follow you might help you out even more. And this might be a great time to learn all those things and to make you better. And, sometimes I always say when things are quiet is the times where you actually get to hear a lot more of your thoughts. And trust me, I've heard more of my thoughts than I ever have before right now, with how quiet things have been in certain ways. But I've changed different parts of my house to different things. Like this behind me in the dining room is the Instagram office. I work from there. I get up and I get dressed every day. That makes me feel better. I even shave. I sometimes put fragrance on. That helps me. I do runway down this hallway. It's every city depending on what I'm feeling like. All those kind of things. And those are the kind of things that I'm also posting on my Instagram. And I'm finding that those are the things that are getting the numbers up and getting people to have a conversation. And at the end of the day, when we come out of this, nobody knows, will things be back to normal? I don't even know what normal is going to be. And I think it's important for us to realize that either we can wait for what the reality is going to be, or you can create your reality. And I've always been a person that liked to create what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. I know I'm represented by an agency, so I have extra help, but I realize that the agency is an extension of my business. And so I always work with them on a regular basis on giving tasks and direction of what I want to do and where I want to go. And right now, more than ever, the day after this happened, they were the first people I called and I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a one-pager of me and this, blah, blah, blah. We're going to send that out to all these people, whoever wants to get involved, whoever wants to help, whoever wants to do brand partnership, whoever wants, like everything, just a conversation. And I think the other thing that's really important, and one of the first things I've done and I still do, is I reached out to all my clients. I reached out to all the clients that I work with and who I've worked with for years and who have also become like family to me. And the one great thing about that is I really cared to see how they were doing and if there was anything that I can do to help them. Is there anything that I can post for you? Is there anything that I can help you do to make your business better? Or just even the conversations. Sometimes just even calling somebody to say, hey, how you doing, makes them feel better. And I really love the brands that I work with. I really appreciate them. And I'm really invested in them and invested in the people who run them because I absolutely adore them. And so anything that I can do to help them, I would in a heartbeat. And so they were the first people that I contacted when all this started. And I check on them on a regular basis just to see how they're doing. And I think that's the part that we kind of forget about when things are really busy. So now's the time to really stand out by, being kind. And I've always tried to be as kind as I can and helpful. And I think this is a time right now when we can all reach out to each other and help each other in any way possible. But I also think instead, more than anything, is really look at this as a time for change in a positive way, not in a time for change in a negative way. And yes, the part that I'm missing is interaction with people, seeing people. And I think that thing is just really important to me as a person. And, I miss that a lot. One more thing that a few more things I want to add was, there was a question here. There's a question that was sent in that said, what was the best way for designers to promote their online shop platforms to stylists and digital magazines? Well, DMing stylists directly is great. Sending links of your products is great. I've made it open to whoever's watching that if you want to DM me with products that you have, I'll be more than happy to look at them, seeing where I can fit them in upcoming posts that I'm doing with trends and fashion. I am doing a Canadiana week, which is great. I'm also looking for retailers from every province across Canada. I want to do one live chat to go through a retail store per province with some little small mom and pop shops that have them, that want to spend about 20 minutes going through their store and show me what they have. It's all that sort of stuff that's really exciting. So I think I'm open to that. I think it's important to reach out to those people. Also reach out to all those people that you never thought you could reach. Now might be the time that they'll have the time to look at that. So I think it's important. The other day I just had this girl who was interested in getting into styling to reach out. And you know what? I said, yeah, I'll give you 10 minutes. Let's do a live chat and I'll give you 10 minutes of what the industry looks like. Why not? I think helping others is the best way to do it. And another question was, how will magazines continue to do editorial shoots while addressing social distancing? This is really interesting because there's an idea of something that I'm doing that you're going to see on my feed that's coming up in the next 2 weeks. It'll be out. So that's one way. I'm not going to share that with you. But I will share this one thing that I thought was really interesting. I don't know if you guys know the photographer Riley Stewart, and if you don't, you should. He was amazing. He did a post the other day, and I thought it was great. He was talking with a friend of his who's a model in New York, and he posted photos of them talking, and he screen grabbed photos of her while she was, modeling for him, and he was screen grabbing those shots. And the shots were beautiful. And I thought, that could be a really new way for editorials to happen is model gets the clothes, stylist directs through chat, photographer directs through like just natural lighting and seeing what can happen. So I'm kind of thinking that might be the way to do it right now. And if there's more innovative ways coming up, I think it'd be amazing. So I think that's really, really exciting. So I don't know what other questions are here. I'm going to try to see them. Let me see if there's any other questions before I go and say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for joining in. It's very sweet of you guys. So thank you so much. I'm also going to remind everybody that on this Thursday, Paolo Leon will be sharing his expertise on brand strategies and what companies are doing now. And he's amazing. So make sure you watch that on Thursday. That's with the live CAFA chat. So make sure you watch that live with CAFA. It's Paolo Leon. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I hope it was helpful. It didn't seem just like me chatting away. And if you have anything you want to know, just DM me directly, and I'd be more than happy to help if I can. So have a great day. All the best. Be well, be safe, and help each other as much as you can. Bye.